Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I have a little review of Nailpollies Sunday Best Collection. I know it's been a hot minute since I've had any Nailpollies on my channel, but I had to pick up their latest collection called Sunday Best, which features 4 polishes inspired by ice cream. If you aren't familiar with Nailpollies, they're an indie brand based in San Diego, California, and all of their collections are inspired by foods and drinks, and even cooler, their caps are fully handmade. They're hand sculpted, hand painted, so they are really a labor of love. As always, I will save more of my thoughts for the end after some comparisons. For now, let's get into the swatches. First up we have I Love You Un-Conditionally, which has a strawberry cheesecake soft serve ice cream cap that features little strawberry and cheesecake details. The polish is a strawberry pink crelly base that features a gold graham cracker crust shimmer, gold and iridescent microflakes, and a berry red metallic microflake. This one had a beautiful formula that was just so smooth, very even coverage on the first coat. It is just a little bit sheer, but it builds up beautifully in just 2 coats. I think you can see a hint of nail line, but it wasn't enough to do a third for me. No surprise, this is one of my favorites from the collection. The only thing I will mention is that I didn't really see the iridescent flakies. Next up is Mint for Each Other, which has a waffle cone cap with 3 scoops of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Definitely a controversial flavor. I'm not the biggest fan of it for ice cream, but I love it as a polish. This one has a mint green crelly base that has a cool silvery shimmer running throughout, as well as gold, rose gold, and iridescent microflakes. But like I mentioned with the last polish, I feel like the iridescent microflakes are a lot easier to see in the bottle versus on the nail. I think they kind of get lost in the crelly base. The shimmer and metallic microflakes definitely stand out a lot more, and I feel like the silver shimmer in this really adds to the minty feel. I was surprised that the flakies weren't black though. Then we have SUNDAE Funday, which has another waffle cone that features 3 scoops of, I'm assuming, rainbow sherbet. It's a fun, colorful mix of yellow, pink, and blue. The polish is a white crelly that has a matte pastel hex glitter mix in pink, orange, aqua, periwinkle, and white colors in mainly small and medium sizes, but there are a few larger pieces as well. And there's also pops of a holographic microflake. At least I saw that in the bottle. Again, that part didn't really translate as well on the nail. You really just get a pastel glitter mix in a white crelly, which I obviously still really loved. This was another favorite. It built up great in 2 coats, but you might need 3. And rounding out the collection, we have What a Softie, which is a cookies and cream soft serve with a half Oreo detail. I love cookies and cream, so this is my favorite cap, but it's probably my least favorite polish. I think I would describe this one as a soft charcoal, semi-pearlescent base with a silver shimmer and silver metallic microflakes. So formula-wise, this was most similar to Mint for Each Other, especially having the same silver shimmer, giving it that cool ice cream feel. This one was also surprisingly sheer on the first coat. I kind of wasn't expecting it to be that sheer, but it did build up really beautifully in just 2 coats, where I don't think you would need 3, but it could just depend on your application. And here's a collage of my full hand swatches for this collection. I'm wearing 2 coats each with a glossy top coat. The only one I would recommend a peel off base for is Sunday Funday, since it has those micro glitters. They'll be a little bit more difficult to remove than the tinier micro flakies in the other polishes. Moving on to comparisons, for I Love You Unconditionally, the closest pink crelly I had from Nailpollies is Playing Hard to Get, but that one has a brighter bubblegum pink base, so definitely not a dupe. But if anything, the closer polish in my collection is this super oldie from this brand called NvrEnuff. It's called Strawberry Moon, and on paper it sounds like they would have similar descriptions, being these strawberry pink bases with gold shimmer and flakies, as well as a red metallic glitter, but the base in Strawberry Moon is actually a bit more peachy. Next, for Mint for Each Other, I think the closest green nail polish I had was Matcha Made in Heaven, which, as you can see, is definitely not a dupe. That one is so much lighter and more yellow leaning. It's also a cream, so definitely not a dupe. For more of a true minty comparison, here it is next to Holo Taco's Crime and Punishment, which is another cream, but even color-wise, there is a pretty noticeable difference where I think Mint for Each Other is a bit more blue leaning, so it actually reminded me more of Holo Taco's Time After Time from the Cottagecore collection. That's almost a lighter blue sage kind of color, so it is a bit more blue leaning. And finally, I landed on the closest polish being Olive Ave Sage, being a soft minty green kind of shade that's also filled with a silver shimmer, so definitely not dupes by any means, but it's the closest I had in my collection. I think layering a black flaky topper over Sage would give you an even closer mint chocolate chip color. Next for SUNDAE Funday, I was immediately reminded of Cereal-ously Lucky, which was an older nail polish shade that is another white crelly, but it mainly has a red or pink sort of metallic microflake. It's definitely not as colorful as SUNDAE Funday, but the glitter mix in that one easily reminded me of Painted Polish's Pastel Prism, which was a previous PPU shade. Oh my god, the alliteration. But that one is virtually a dupe where they have the same white crelly bases filled with pastel matte glitters. It's a little bit more dense in the painted polish and it doesn't have such larger glitters, but the Nailpollies is a close enough alternative. And lastly, for What a Softie, this one immediately reminded me of You Are Boo-tiful, which was a previous Halloween Nailpollies. That one though has a more true black jelly crelly base with a gold metallic microflake. So they do end up looking quite different on the nail, where you can see how much more sheer What a Softie is and how much more silvery it leans. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for Nailpollies SUNDAE Best Collection. As always, I would love to know your thoughts on these, especially if you already grabbed them. I obviously thought they were cute enough to pick up myself, and I love the polishes. I admittedly love the caps the most. Like, the one that I knew I really wanted to get was What a Softie, because cookies and cream is my favorite flavor for ice cream, at least back when I used to have it. Maybe closely followed by a coffee, but either way, the polish itself, you know, isn't exactly my favorite. I think I would have loved it if it was a more off-white ivory cream with little black flakies in there, but I feel like that's so overdone in a way, or just a much more simple kind of finish. So I do appreciate the different approach with having the darker base filled with that silvery shimmer, just gives it that icy cold metallic feel. So I still think the polishes themselves were so beautiful. So I would love to know which one is your favorite, whether it's the polish, the cap, or just what's your favorite flavor of ice cream in general. These are all still available on the Nailpollies website, so I will have that linked down below. And as a reminder, I'm also an affiliate with Nailpollies, so if you use my code POLISHYOGI, you'll save $10 off your order of $45 or more. Using my code just gives me a small commission, which supports me and my channel. So as always, a big thank you to anyone who does use it. I know a couple of people already did to pick up this collection, but even if you don't plan on grabbing anything, I still would love to know your thoughts down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!